Mick Fleetwood is one of the founding members of one of the most popular groups of all time, and that, of course, is Fleetwood Mac. Well, Mick has been around a long time and continues to make music, touring with Fleetwood Mac, but also touring on his own with a blues band, and they have a new album out called Blue Again, and Mick Fleetwood joins us on the program right now to talk about that album and more. So, Mick, first let's talk about the album Blue Again, how it came to be, and also your association again with someone who joined you for a while as part of Fleetwood Mac, guitarist Rick Vito.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the first thing to remember for someone that doesn't know the absolute sort of long-term history of Fleetwood Mac is that we started as a blues band back in 1967. That was it. We were very much just a formatted blues band. Our love for the genre of music was extreme, and our heroes were all the guys that came out of the United States, the likes of the B.B. Kings and all Sonny Boy Williamson, on, into really the beginnings of Fleetwood Mac, Elmore James, and that whole period of my life, which was an extreme influence on me, stayed with me, really has stayed with me. That was my boot camp, that was my training ground. And years later, on this sort of crazy Fleetwood Mac journey, Lindsay left Fleetwood Mac for a while, and Rick Vito came into the ranks of the band, got to know him as a player and as a friend, and happily Lindsay came back to us. But by then I'd formed a great friendship with Rick Vito, and we went off our separate ways for really a long, long time, and met up and started exchanging ideas. And lo and behold, Rick was a huge blues fan, and his playing is sort of second to none as far as I'm concerned. And he was also someone that really, really understood the beginnings of Fleetwood Mac and was a great admirer of Peter Green, who formed Fleetwood Mac in 1967 with me, way back. And we ended up putting this band together and playing the music that we love. I'm able to dig into none of the contemporary Fleetwood Mac material, but all and any of the lovely old stuff that, in truth, I hadn't played for many, many, many years. And everything that I'd done as a player during that period was sort of under the radar, playing with friends and doing tours with artists that I knew, blues artists. But no one knew about it really to any great extent. And this is the first time I've done it in terms of having a real focus on it. And we put the band together. We record most of the stuff. We have fun recording with Pro Tools. I was doing a wine event, actually, in St. Louis. And we decided to add the music and put the two together on this one particular instance. And we recorded it. And it turned out so good. We used the recording for the live album, and that's sort of how we got here. It was really an affinity and a love from Rick and myself with blues music, really, and hence Blue Again, Blue once more.
So, Mick, in your heart of hearts, are you a pop star, rock star, or blues man?
Well, if you forced me to sit on a desert island, I would probably have to pick the latter. But truly, my musical likes are so sort of integrated, and my journey out of the blues into sort of, if you like, where we are now as a band was so natural and so exciting that it really, truly is part and parcel of the whole thing. But if you force me into a corner like a rat, I would probably have to end up playing in some little pub, in the corner of the room with 20 people.
Mick, do you keep in contact at all with people like Jeremy Spencer and Peter Green from the early days? And if so, how are they doing?
Well, both very much Jeremy. I not only hear from, he's in great shape. He's back recording, and he's put a couple of albums out, and he's gone back to basically playing blues, and he is totally A1 okay in terms of his journey. He's still involved with his religious group, and seems, to tell you the truth, very happy and full of great humor. But I keep in touch with Jeremy, and he does with me over the years, so that's sort of a non-issue in terms of contact. Peter, from time to time, I speak to. We were touring Europe just not so long ago with Blue Again and the band that we're talking about, and he was going to come to Fairfield Hall in Croydon, and then something came up, which is sort of the way Peter is. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not great, but he's okay, and he lives in England now. He spends a lot of time, he loves fishing, and he goes fishing in Sweden for some reason. He's probably got some gorgeous lady up there, who knows. But he's okay, and, I miss him in terms of our conversation, because it's synonymous, Peter Green and Fleetwood Mac.
Mick, with many bands reuniting lately, willing to put their differences aside and willing to work out internal conflicts, compromising, have you had to make a lot of compromises to keep Fleetwood Mac going over all these years?
Over the years, absolutely. This band would not be here unless one way or another people at different times had compromised and got over things. In our instance, it was personal relationships and love affairs and God knows what going on, which was an extra texture that, in truth, I cannot really think of another band that's had to be. In fact, I don't think there is another one that had that male-female dynamic that was extremely emotionally involved, which is makes it probably the most sensitive and delicate negotiation through the career of Fleetwood Mac. But on the other hand, as crazy as it sounds, it's also been the reason why we still do this. We all moved on, and we've all, Lindsay and I have family, basically new families in many ways. And it's something that really makes, as difficult as it was back in the day, it also makes it very real, and the nice thing about it is, I take your comment, there are a lot of bands that said, oh my God, we just play great music and we don't get on, and in some instances it's sort of, if you like, a sort of business arrangement of sorts that allows them to play great music. And with us, it certainly, it involves getting out there, and business is involved in terms of getting anything like this out on the road. But it also allows the fact that we have to, when we do this, we have to be happy about how we are with each other. That makes the magic a sort of extra texture. But there are definitely Stevie and Lindsay see things often in very different ways, and I say Stevie and Lindsay because we all have opinions about what goes on. But in truth, I would be an idiot if I know as a band, sort of at certain points in time of being a band sort of leader of sorts. Unless your front line is happy and can coexist, and these are the guys and girls that are putting the final touches to what we are when we're on stage, and unless that is workable, you don't have a band, So all of the above, but when we do it, the great thing is we know each other incredibly well. And it's not just strictly business, which is, for me, is the lovely part of it, is that when we do all get on the same boat, that there is that extra texture which is very deep and runs from a lineage. Stevie and Lindsay have known each other since they were 16 years old. And when they take that and walk on stage, and they take their memories of certain baggage and certain times that weren't happy, they also take on the stage with them certain times that were incredibly happy. And that's where we're at. Basically, we're all in our 60s, apart from Lindsay, who's the youngster of the band. and so there you go. I hope that sort of somewhat answers.
Yeah, so in light of all that then, how therapeutic was the Rumours album for all of you?
I think it was incredibly therapeutic. And in fact, Lindsay makes comment during the show. I forget one of the songs that was off the Rumours album. I'm forgetting which one it is right now. And he so very correctly relates what the song was all about. He takes a little time out to sort of by way of relating to the song and the word. I don't think it's. I think it's secondhand news. I think it was secondhand news, maybe. But in any eventuality, that's exactly what was going on. I mean, you can imagine that album was made with all 5 people, including me being one of them. My wife had left me. I was the only one that was spared not having to work with my partner. My ex-partner. My then wife, my pain and angst was her situation, which was, I won't say I wasn't deserving of the fact that she did walk out on me either. Was with one of my best friends. So we were all in a world of pain during that album, and there's no doubt the irony and the good irony of it was that number one, none of us were going to walk away from the music. I cannot remember one particular real sort of, oh my God, it's going to break up. We can't take this anymore. Because the music was all consuming, and it became our best friend inadvertently. So your comment is well placed, because it was very therapeutic, and the body of work that represents Rumours, no doubt, turned out to be a very important document of what was going on with these people. I think that follows really, for me, it has been therapeutic in terms of me really in a very focused way reconnecting on where I came from musically, and it's been a lot of fun too. So as usual, there's a reason why Shakespeare made the lines, if music be the food of love, play on. And it really has been part of that journey. The same way as I look at songs that are written about, played on the radio especially, of course, where you go, where you were, what you were doing, what you were, most of all, importantly, feeling at the time. And music does that, and when you're really in the middle of it, like as a musician, you realize how, in many ways, of course, how blessed we are. Anyone that can emote and do something and put bread and butter on the table for 45 years should be a happy camper, and I am.
That is Mick Fleetwood in conversation here on Life Talk, talking about his latest album called Blue Again, back to the roots of Fleetwood Mac blues music, and also talking about his days with that super group.